Hey, what's up, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back for another episode, or I guess kind of our first episode of the year for Dallas Cowboys Uncensored Show. I'm Charlie Moffitt. Tonight I have the one, the only Bluff City Cowboys, Marcus D. Jones, with us. Uh,
Thank you for the invite, Charlie.
no problem. Before we get started, hit that bell for notifications so when we drop a video or go live, you'll know. Also, hit that sub if you haven't already. Another thing we're trying to get up this year is our likes and our comments. Hit that like or dislike. I don't really give a shit either one you do. Leave a comment, good or bad. I don't care about that. Uh, I'll reply to it or I'll like the comment or I'll get back with you. But that plays into the YouTube algorithm, and we need to get them up this year. So try to help us out and hit that like or dislike and leave a comment. Um, Sorry it took us a little longer than we were supposed to because I'm having mic problems. But this is the weird fucking thing about it is I don't hear it anymore, Marcus.
That's how it always goes.
Like I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck was wrong with my mic because I kept hearing an echo in my ear. I could hear myself talk. And hell, I don't even like listening to myself talk. So I was trying to fix it, and finally I said, hell with it, we'll just do the show. But now it's gone away. But anyways, we got a lot to cover tonight. Not a lot, but we're going to try to cover as much as we can. Talk about some O-line, some wide receiver depth, defense. What basically most content creators been talking about for 6 months, but me and Marcus just haven't felt like we needed to give our opinion.
We talk about it when it actually is meaningful.
Yeah, we figured we talk about it when we really needed to talk about it, which now, week of the first game, it needs to be talked about. But yeah, how you been, buddy?
Man, I'm good. Just ready for some real football, ready to talk real football and not have to try to generate storylines to keep people engaged.
Yeah.
So it's good to be back in front of the camera. Good to be talking Cowboys football, getting ready for week 1.
And let y'all know Marcus has a fantasy football draft starting here in about 15 minutes. So if he's not looking like he's paying attention, he is. He's just trying to make some picks.
I'll be paying attention.
Oh, I know. I was just fucking with you. How did you do? How did your other one come? I didn't get to watch that live that day. Did you? Was you happy with your other one?
Oh, my draft was great.
Oh, was it?
Oh,
Who'd you get?
Too many names to put out there. You'll be seeing it throughout the year.
You get any Cowboys?
No, I don't draft Cowboys.
You don't?
That's too heartbreaking.
I either do one or two things. I either try to get as many as I can. Them are my fun leagues, but my serious leagues, I try to stay away from them because I'm like you. It's just like, fuck, they already give me enough heartache. I don't want to, I don't want to watch them and like they're winning, but I'm upset because my goddamn receiver ain't doing what I thought he would do. So, yeah.
Yeah, Jack was giving us a hard time because I drafted Aaron Rodgers and I think Lambeau drafted Jalen Hurts.
Jack just said it. He picked Aaron Rodgers, Charlie.
He posted about 5 times during the live. So Mendoza. Mendoza has a really good squad too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It should be competitive.
All right. Let's fuck it, man. Let's get started with the latest news. Overall, the O-line, but Jason Peters signing. And what does that mean for everything? You're an O-line, more of an O-line guru than I am. What did you think about the Jason Peters signing? And what do you think is how that's going to pan out about our rest offensive line? And overall, what are you worried about on the offensive line, or if you worried at all? Well, I know you are because we chat a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I love the Jason Peters signing. There are a lot of tackles who are available, but their price tags are ridiculous. And I don't know why our fan base thought that Jerry and Steven would pretty much blow half of their war chest to sign a temporary patch in terms of you name whoever's available right now.
Right.
I don't think Jason Peters' contract has been released yet, but
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Last year he signed for about $1.5 million. I would be shocked if his price tag is more than twice that, maybe with some incentives thrown in just to make sure you get the deal done. So you get a guy who started 15 games last year. I know his PFF grade was pretty good. Wasn't all pro or anything, but It's good enough for a starting left tackle. So you get the experience. Great feet, great hands. Probably, I mean, we've been blessed with having Tyron Smith here for over a decade. Jason Peters, Trent Williams, Joe Thomas, those are Teron Armstead. Those are probably the 5 most athletic left tackles that we've seen in our generation of watching football the past 10, 15 years. So even at 40 years old, I know people are afraid of that age. The guy was a freak athlete. I mean, he came in as a tight end when he came into the league, tight end / defensive end at 300 pounds.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I didn't know that much about him until last night. I was looking him up. I actually was looking up something specific for him, and I saw where he went undrafted and he was a tight end, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
At 300 pounds,
that big dude was. But he played special teams too on in Arkansas, or did he play special teams over Buffalo his first year? But I know he played special teams too. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that dude was a kickoff guy.
Like, yeah, he ran a sub 4.8, and this was 15 years ago, back before
that was popular. Yeah,
getting out right.
Back before that was kind of normal, so to speak.
Right. So we're getting a freak athlete. We're getting a multiple Pro Bowl guy. He's coming in dirt cheap. He also has the position flex to where if Tyler Smith actually looks pretty good at left tackle, you can throw Jason Peters at left guard and you still improve your offensive line. So I'm very excited about the signing. He probably won't play this week. Well, he won't be on the 53-man roster, I say that. There's a chance he could play, but I think all signs are pointing to Tyler Smith being our starting left tackle this week to check things out. And for people who don't understand the front office aspect of football, the reason he's on the practice squad is because veterans' contracts are not guaranteed if they're not on the roster week 1. So they put him on the practice squad now. They can either keep him there this week or they can bring him up to the 53. But because he's not on the roster, if something happens and they want to cut him, they can cut him without having to pay him any guarantees. So that's one of the reasons he signed to the practice squad right now. That's not saying anything about where he is in terms of his chances of making the team. All the new rules in the practice squad change things around.
Yeah. Yeah, when they signed him, I know some Cowboy fans were expecting him to start week 1. And I'll try not to call people out, but there's one dipshit that works for Blogging the Boys that said Mike McCarthy should be fired if he doesn't start him week 1. And I'm like, dude, first of all, Mike McCarthy doesn't control that. I don't know how many fucking times we got to go over this. Jerry Jones controls playing time. That's just how it is for all head coaches in Dallas. Second of all, his age has a little bit to do with it, but somebody who has not played football since the last game of last year, have not put on pads, all he's done was weightlifting and cardio, that's a big fucking ass that has asked somebody to come in and be ready in 5 days.
Yeah.
You know, so I never expected him to even play week 1. But yeah, I don't know how it's going to work out. I guess if Tyler does good out there, maybe they'll keep him, off the roster until they have to bring him on until he has a bad game or he starts struggling. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that's going to work out.
You think they bring him up just as an emergency tackle this week, or just completely?
I don't think so. I'm with you on the part where, I mean, if you're bringing him up for emergency, then bring him up and start him. I mean, if he's able to play, if Tyler goes down the first play of the game, he's going to have to play. So if he can do that, then just go ahead and start him and move Tyler back to left guard and let's roll with that shit all year until something happens. I ain't gonna lie to you though. The whole offensive line, right tackle, people worry about Steele. I don't worry about Steele. I don't worry. Martin's Martin. Fuck, I'm not even have to discuss him. Badass, what the fuck ever. People are low on him. I'm not that low on him. Can we get better center at some point? Well, yeah, you can improve, but I don't think he's detrimental. I don't think he's like. I don't think he hurts as bad as some people think they do. And plus, we got Farnock behind him, whatever his name is. I'm terrible at name dudes.
Yeah.
But we got him behind him, and I thought he played well in the preseason. So if Biadasz go out there and he doesn't play well, I have confidence that Farnock will come in and he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But once we start getting to left guard, that's when I start to worry a little bit.
Oh yeah.
If it's Connor, if he plays like he did during the preseason and he played like he did in practice, I'm comfortable with him at left guard.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have signs of last year in real games when it really mattered of him playing left guard, and it was not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
If you put Tyler there, I have more confidence in him. But he is a rookie, and he does have some little bit of holding issues. So I'm, he's a rookie, so I'm going to worry a little bit about him. And if left tackle, man, I'm scared shitless. I putting Tyler out there scares the shit out of me. I mean, that's where he played last year. Everybody, the way he played left tackle, in college, and that's the last fucking time he played. For any significant snaps at left tackle was last year in college. He hasn't taken no significant snaps at left tackle with the Cowboys. May 5th was the last time he took snaps. That was fucking OTAs with no pads.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden, he's playing left guard this whole fucking preseason, and now you're just going to throw him out there to the Wolves to be on an island by himself. That scares the shit out of me.
Right.
With that said, it scares the shit out of me less than Ball.
Yeah.
Like Ball scares me more than Tyler.
He's also going up against the guy who's had double-digit sacks for 3 straight years too, in Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, so yeah, that scares the shit out of me. If Peters start, I know they can't start him this week. I understand that. That's a big ask. But I do believe once he comes in and gets in shape, like week 2, I think if he's in shape, he's ready to go. You put him at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you wasn't planning. They can say what they want. They was not planning to fucking play Tyler at left tackle year 1. That wasn't going to happen. So now they're having to do that. Don't do it. Put him back at left guard where he's been practicing all year, and let the old man take care of it. And if the old man does something that he lost it in 1 year, he falls apart. Well, then you can go with Tyler out there and let him sink or swim. But yeah, left tackle, it actually scares the shit out of me. But Peters signing makes me feel better. It makes me feel if they want to put Tyler out there, if he starts really fucking up, then we got Peters to fall back on. So I do feel pretty good about that.
And also, like I said before, Peters can play left guard. So if you do put Tyler at left tackle, you got a veteran beside him who can give him some pointers in game, help him out a little bit, stuff like that. So it's a lot of positives from bringing in a guy like Jason Peters.
Oh, you talking about putting Peters at left tackle and then Tyler at left guard? Yeah, that would help him tremendously.
Either way, or putting Peters at left guard.
Or put Peters, that would help him, but I've heard that Peters is kind of like fucking, whatchamacallit, fucking Martin about playing tackle. Peters just don't want to move in at guard.
You know what?
That's what I heard. I'm not saying it's true. That's what I've been hearing.
People say that, but when he was with the Eagles, he was playing guard until the tackles got hurt. He only moved back to tackle because both of the tackles got hurt. He was the starting guard going into their 2020 year because they drafted what's his name, Andrew Dillard. And he was just a horrible mistake of a draft pick.
He was awful. Yes, he was.
Yeah, and then
it's always good when the Eagles draft an awful player.
Well, they've been doing it quite a few years, except for this last one. Well, remains to be seen. But yeah, he was actually playing guard. So, and I could see that. He could be the type that wants to stay at tackle, but I mean, he's 40 years old.
Yeah, but see, man, this is where I'm gonna go off on a rant about players choosing where in the fuck they want to play. That just bothers me. And I had this conversation about Martin. I love Martin. I absolutely love him. I think he's the best player in the Cowboys. Even better than Dak at his position. He dominates his position better than anybody else does. Although Parsons is getting up there. But if the team needs to move to left tackle, people's like, well, he's a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. He can choose where he plays. Well, fuck no. I mean, when in the fuck does being a first ballot Hall of Famer while you're still playing have to play into where you get to choose where you want to play? I don't see it. I don't think I don't think that should have anything to do with it. If the team moves you out, wants you to move to right tackle, left tackle, then you do it. You can bitch about it. You can scream about it and tell them how fucked up they are for doing it, but you still fucking do it. You know, and I understand it's different. I understand there's more different muscle memory and chances of getting hurt, maybe because you're not used to the movements. I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's where they need you at, that's where you go. And I have people tell me that he might retire. He could just always retire if he don't want to do it. I'm like, two things. First of all, I don't see fucking Martin being that guy. I don't see him being that guy and being so selfish, just like, fuck it, I'll quit and just walk away from football because he doesn't want to move a position. I don't think he's that player. I think he's a leader. I think he might pull Jerry aside in the office and fucking choke him and tell him how fucking stupid it is, and he's pissed off. But I think he's like, fuck it, I'll do it. He might not be happy about it, but I think he would do it. But there's actually people say, well, he can always retire. And I was like, nah, he ain't walking away from the rest of his money he has and just over a position change. Like I said, if we don't need him there, that's fine. And right now, I don't think we really need him, especially with the Peter signing. You know, there's no reason to move him. But I mean, if it's necessary at some point, I don't see an issue in it. And I'm not saying he won't get mad. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to quit like some people think he would.
Right. Yeah, I was talking to Lambo about this the other day, and he was bringing up an interesting point. If you move Zach Martin, and it's not going to happen, there's no chance I don't think of it happening. But if you did move him to left tackle, you would have all of your other four linemen in their best possible position, because you get to move Connor McGovern to right guard, Terrence Steele doesn't have to go to left tackle, Tyler Smith stays at left guard, and even though Zach Martin's kind of a fish out of water at left tackle, he still will probably be a much better option than Josh Ball and Matt Lewetzko. So you would have all four of your best linemen in their best position, and then your fifth guy, though he may be considered worse, it still be an upgrade. It wouldn't happen, but it's an interesting take.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it would happen either. And that was my point when I was talking about it. I don't think it's going to happen either. But to think he's going to quit or retire, that's why people like, you don't mess with him, because if you do that, he might quit. He might retire. No, he won't. He might bitch and yell and scream. And they say, well, why does he say publicly he don't want to play tackle? Because he don't want to play fucking tackle. I say shit publicly all the time I don't want to fucking do. You know, but I do it. So, yeah. But, yeah, overall offensive line, I mean, I don't think it's doom and gloom as some people make it out to be. It's a little worrisome, but basically just the left side is only place I'm worried about. Mm-hmm. From the center to the right, I'm okay with all of them. I'm okay with Steele. Some people still don't trust Steele. And like I said, Biadasz, I mean, can we probably improve at some point? Maybe next year? Yeah, definitely. But I just don't think he's the link that's going to fuck the whole line up. I think it's going to be from the left side. If there's any major issues, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, pre-game he was BSing.
Yeah, see, and that, I know, I saw that, but that's a good point. That's the point I was trying to make. Like, what other fucking player? I mean, like, what would Martin say if he refused to do it and said, no, I'll fucking retire if you do? Like Parsons plays anywhere you ask him to fucking play. D-Law moves inside and plays tackle when they ask him to. You know, CeeDee Lamb will play the slot outside. I don't care. He doesn't care where you play him at. You know, so I mean, like, why aren't we just putting Martin on this pedestal and just saying, hey, if he don't want to play, don't make him. No, you tell him, get the fuck over there and play. You know? And if he retires, he would just look really bad if he said, like, well, you know, I wanted to play, but they wanted me to play a different position, so I just quit. Right. That's like a little fucking 5-year-old on a fucking football team not getting his way. You know, I'm not saying he would do it. I'm actually saying that he would not do that. He would be pissed. He has said publicly he does not want to play tackle, but he would do it if they ask him to. But again, they're not going to ask him to, and you don't ask him to unless it's just like 2 years ago in 2020. We was down to no tackles, dude. I mean, we was down to our fifth and sixth string tackles, so we kind of had it. He had to do that. So I mean, if it's a situation that like that, I have full confidence he'd do it. It's Todd Corey. What's up, Todd?
Yeah, before we get into it, Tavis Banks, Rika, Mendoza, Jack Meeker, thank you all for joining. Chris Davis, I missed your comment earlier, but thank you for joining. Also, pregame sweat been in the comments since the beginning, so thank you for.
He's the first one in.
Yeah.
All right, well, that covers the offensive line. There was, but yeah, I think I think Peters would be pulled up. I do. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm hoping he's going to start. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tyler comes out against the Bucs and just dominates. And I'm like, okay, I'll take him. But man, if you're having holding issues at guard, where you're kind of cramped up inside, when you're out on the island and you're facing a bad motherfucker, I don't see. I mean, he had a holding issue in college at left tackle.
Yep.
And so that he just, like I said, it scares the shit out of me. You know, we're gonna have to run a lot of two tight end set and let somebody help him a little bit. But we'll see how that turns out. Move on to wide receivers.
All right.
This is where it gets all fucking itchy at. I don't know what your true opinion is, even though we've chatted a lot. I don't think we ever talked about it much. What is your opinion on our wide receivers? Weak, strong, okay? Because the Cowboy Nation think that's, besides offensive line, that's it's a problem, and we're going to have problems.
It's not 2018 bad, but I do have a lot of concerns. To me, it all boils down to how we use CeeDee Lamb. If we move Lamb more inside, outside, I think we'll be okay. And I know fans don't like Noah Brown. Noah Brown's good enough to get you 4 or 5 catches for 50 yards in the game. Just height, weight, speed, put in the right situation. He's a possession guy. We just never saw it. People said the same thing about Cedric Wilson before last year. He couldn't do it. And look what he turned out to be. I think Noah Brown could be along those same lines. Not a world beater, but good enough to be on a roster. In terms of our other receivers, I don't know. In terms of Tolbert, I think Tolbert can give us flashes because he's a talented kid, and those skills do translate into the NFL. So we got guys that I think can step up and make plays if we need them to. We're definitely taking a step back from last year, and I don't know who our number 3 wide receiver is going to be. I mean, it could be Tolbert, it could be Semi Fehoko, which I know a lot of fans want it to be, but you just don't know.
Number 2?
I think Noah Brown's going to be the number 2.
Oh yeah, okay. You said number 3 there, yeah,
number 3.
Because I said Brown's going to be a 2. They've already kind of pretty much said that.
Yeah, he's going to be your X. Hopefully, he's going to be your X guy, X possession guy, slants, comebacks, 3rd and 4. He get you 5 yards. He may make one big play to get 20 yards, but I'm not expecting a lot. I'm really expecting to see a lot of 12 personnel week 1. So
I expect to see, just like last year when Gallup was out, we saw a lot of 12.
Yeah. So I'm expecting to see a lot of that. I'm hoping they get Pollard involved. I don't know if you're going to go through this, but the addition of a guy like Turpin is really going to help our offense because we've been horrible at punt and kick. And I feel like having a guy like Turpin is going to give us an extra 10 or 15 yards here or there that we wouldn't normally have, that'll help kind of get the offense rolling. And if we're talking strictly week 1, I'm not as afraid of Tampa's defense this year as last year. I think I love the D tackle they have. And I don't know if you're going to go into this. The big kid, what's his name?
Villa.
I love Vita Vea.
Vea? Yeah, I always call him Vea, but it was Vea. Yeah. Yeah, I love that dude. He was one of the You know how I am about one techs. I just don't draft him early and don't pay him. But him, if you look at his percentage of the snaps, he's one of the very few one techs that take over 50% of snaps. I don't know what it was last year, but at one time, I don't think it was 2020. I think it's 2019 because 2020 he was hurt. 2019 he had 60% of snaps.
Yeah.
Right. One techs don't do that.
D-Law doesn't do it as edge, right?
Yeah, but when one techs can rush the passer like he can, and they're not a liability in the passing game, then only one tech's going to see them snaps. I wanted him coming out of college. I was interested. I was hoping we'd take him. And like I said, and I'm anti one techs, but like I want to show you did last year, I said he's not a true one tech, and you was like you disagree and you misunderstood me. No, he's a true one tech.
Right.
I was just saying he wasn't the typical just I'm going to stop this run and that's the only thing I'm going to do. He'll get after the passer.
Yeah.
Too. So that dude's good. I like him.
Yeah. And kind of like Riker was saying right here, if you're talking about the receivers, I'm somewhat concerned. But if you're talking about the passing game, I'm not. Because as much as we love Michael Gallup,
that's fair.
He's our number 3 pass catcher. Our tight end is always going to be number 1 and number 2 in this offense. So as long as you got Lamb and you got Schultz, and you got a number 3 who can get you 50 or 60 yards, and they're going to try to run the ball, and you got better at tight end with 12 personnel. I think we're going to be a upgraded team in terms of tight end. So I think that helps in terms of the passing game.
Yeah, you got Ferguson and Hendershot too. Yeah, and I like both them kids. So,
yeah, Mendoza. I think it might be Nunez Roaches is the D tackle, but they may have Hicks too. Akeem Hicks too.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about receiver, how long do you think before we see Michael Gallup on the field?
Honestly, I think it'd be week 2.
Okay.
I don't think obviously ain't gonna be this week, but week 2, I think they'll pull him up then. They'll give him because he's already been practicing. He's already passed his physical. By that time, it'd be 1 week, 2 weeks. It'd be 3 weeks since he's been cleared and since he's been practicing. So I think, it won't be no later than week 3. They'll have to bring him week 3 because if not, they kind of, was done for even keeping him on the roster. I mean, keeping him on. You know what I'm saying? Don't put him on.
Not put him on
IR. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think they expect him to be back week 2. And that's another thing is even if he's back week 4, everybody was talking about. This is the problem I have. Everybody was talking about 9 months. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, look, I'm not saying it won't be 9 months. That is the deadline of ACLs. But 2 things: everybody heals different, and 2, technology gets better every fucking year. All right. Yep. I'm old enough to remember ACLs wasn't 9 fucking months. It was a fucking year. And it was actually a year. Career. And it wasn't just a year. It was a year and a half. A year before you might be able to come back, but you won't be back really good until the next year. Mm-hmm. And then it got down to a year, and then it got down to 9 months. Eventually, it's going to turn into an 8-month injury or a 7-month injury or a 6. Because I'll use me. My leg was not supposed to be saved, but it was because of technology. 4 years before that, the doctor told my dad, we wouldn't asked you to save it. We would have just amputated. But the technology that came so far in 4 years that they thought they could save it, and they did. So, I mean, like Dak's fucking injury, that was career ender 15, 20 years ago. There's no way you come back from that.
Definitely.
And if you do, you're not even close to the same person you was. Hell, fucking whatchamacallit, played for Washington, broke his leg kind of like I did, quarterback. Alex Smith.
I went way back.
Yeah, no, you went way back. But Alex Smith came back and had a pretty good season. He snapped his fucking leg. Like he got the same shit I did almost. Mine was a little worse, but he had a lot of similar injury I did. So yeah. So I mean that 9 months is just a good starting point, but some people come back a little earlier, Some people might take 9 months.
Yeah.
So, what's up, Pat?
So, who do you think will be the number 3 receiver then? Are we both in agreement? Noah Brown's pretty much number 2 right now?
Yeah, Noah Brown's too. They said something about the other day. Dak did about him being the number 2. I think Tolbert. I think he'll get opportunity to, just because of where they drafted him at. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I mean, I'm not saying somebody else deserves it more than he did.
Yeah.
But I think he played well enough in the preseason. I know a lot of people talk about his drops and lack of, stats, but he was playing with some fucking pretty shitty quarterbacks.
Right.
It just, them quarterback play was just kind of weird. I feel sorry for the receivers. But overall, during practice, stuff like that, he was in Dak's hip pocket and shit like that. So, yeah, I think he'll be number 3. And to be honest with you, I don't know if we'll have a true 3. I think the 3 will probably be split between him and Simi and Houston. We forget about Houston.
I agree.
And Dak fucking loves Houston. Dak's is probably the reason Houston made the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be a split between them 3. I think we're just going to throw a lot of shit out there. And finally, yesterday's press conference, Moore finally mentioned it that Turpin, they're actually using Turpin as a wide receiver now. Like he say it's not just trick plays and jet sweeps, that they're actually using him for plays. Not to where if he comes out there, Turpin's out there, watch him, they're going to give him the ball. No, they actually want to use him as a wide receiver and let him run a route. And if he's open, they'll throw it. If not, he won't, So I don't know. I love the Turpin signing. I did a video. I dropped a video on it. And kind of what I've said kind of came true. I said he walks in as our punt returner, kickoff. Well, I knew punt return and possibly kickoff returner day 1. And I said, I think there's some things you can do with them all offense, but out of the slot, you can get real cute and put them in the backfield and hand it to them. And they did that during practice and stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do with that kid.
Yep.
And
definitely
speed fucking kills. I mean, at the end of the day, you just give him the ball, his speed can kill. So, I'm glad we signed him. And I understand he's not going to return 2 punts and kicks every fucking game. And I understand also it was against backups. And 1053 fan Mike Bassick and them, I hate that fucking dipshit, but kept fucking talking about it, about how, well, this is against backups. Let's see him. If it's that fucking easy to do against backups, then why is he the only motherfucker that did it?
Yep. Good
all right.
Point.
So I'm not saying that it's not going to be harder. And I'm not saying he's even going to return 2 all year. I'm just saying I want to see him return. I think he's going to set us up a lot. He might not get a touchdown, but he's going to set us up. He's going to average. I think he's probably going to end up leading the league in average, per return. And he might go all year without scoring 1, but he's going to get us on that 40 or that 50 a couple times and get us good field position.
I totally agree with that. I mean, even if he can give us, like I said, we've been getting nothing from punt return.
I love CD, but he just fair catches it a lot. I don't think Turpin's going to fair catch it. I think he's one of the I think he's one of the first. Well, hell, the one against the Chargers, dude, he had that fucker right in his face when he caught that ball and just that motherfucker went right by him. I think he'll do that a lot. I think he'll take more chances on trying to return one. CD just kind of like, if you're within 5 yards of me, I'm fair catching this shit. I don't think Turpin's going to do that. I think Turpin's like, hey, you better be right up on my ass and I'll fair catch. If not, I'm running this fucker back.
And people, and you talk about the guys over at 1053 talking about he was against backups. Those were our backups in their blocking for him.
Very true.
We've got a pretty good special teams when our guys are out there. So he's going to have some opportunities. And even if he doesn't return, it gives the threat where the punter can't just boom it as far as he can like they normally do. He has to play it a little bit more strategically, where he has to try to angle it. So instead of it being a 50-yard punt, it may be a 42-yard punt because he's trying to angle it more. Those hidden yards will help us out offensively as the game carries on. And those are yards that people don't really think about.
What's up, Maddie? Hell, I done lost my train of thought. Pollard.
Yeah,
Pollard is another one that it's not. they'll have probably him and Pollard back there. I don't think Pollard is going to get pulled off special teams because even Bones said yesterday it's hard to pull him off special teams. It's hard to pull him off kickoff return.
Yep.
So, and also Bones talked about how they're working on some things. I don't know exactly what he meant to make it hard on the punt team not to let him return the punt, like angling it and stuff out there. They're working on some things to force them to punt it to him because they want him to. Bones is all in love with him, dude. You can imagine. He was all hyped on him shit yesterday in his press conference.
Maybe we'll start using 2 jammers instead of 1 because that's been my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, that's been your bitch, and that's been I never even noticed until you pointed it out, and I never understood. I never really understood it because it's like they're getting down there. I mean, it's hard for one guy just to stop another guy. That's kind of a hard thing to do, So, but maybe that's what it is. But they're talking about they're going to try to force him to punt it to him. I don't know. I'm not a special teams guru. Maybe you know more about it. I don't know what they could do to force them to do it, but they're going to end up, like you said, they'll end up having to kick it to the sidelines and shit, and we'll end up getting some good field position because when they try to do that, they fuck up every once in a while and muff it over to the goddamn 10-yard punt and shit.
The only thing they can really do is just overload the long side of the field or the short side of the field so that the punter has to kind of turn his angle to kick it towards the long side or the middle. So that will prevent him from being able to, if the short side of the field's on this side, he can't kick it that way because that's where all the pressure's coming from. So he almost has to kind of turn his kicking angle. That's about the only thing he can do. But anything to get us those extra yards.
Yep. Well, should be interesting. Yeah, and I think our special teams, hell, they was good last year. I think they'll be even better this year.
Oh, yeah.
Bones was talking about that, all the young guys that's going to be playing special teams and how hyped they are. And that's another thing he said. He said the blockers are real eager to block for Turpin because they know if they can get their block and they can stay in it for a second longer, there's a chance he's going to take it to the house. He said they went back and watched film of Hester, and you could see his blockers just working their ass off every fucking punt to try to get him a hole, to get him free, just that one little hole to where he could break it long.
Yeah, and that's stuff that it's a lot of special team stuff that just really gets lost in the shuffle that can make a real big difference in the game, and that's one of them.
All right, just a real quick reminder, everybody, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button for me. Leave a comment if you will, but definitely hit that like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm and helps it put it into a different algorithm. I've studied and researched this shit, but I still don't completely understand it. I just know it helps. Anyway, as far as wide receivers I go, I'm not worried about wide receivers, and maybe it's because of what Riker brought up and you said is our overall passing game I'm not worried about. CD, he's going to do CD shit, and I think he'll even be better this year being the guy. Noah, I think he'll be fine at the number 2. And it's not like Gallup's going to be out all year. Eventually, we'll have Gallup back too. That'll make us even stronger. Tolbert, he's young. You'll go through some growing pains, but I like what he's done. Then you got Houston, you got Simi, you got Tolbert. Yeah, so you got all them. I'm kind of fine on that. Plus, you got Schultz, you got Hendershot, you got Ferguson. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the overall passing game I don't worry about because I feel like we'll be fine. I do think we'll run a lot of 2 tight end set, especially in the first few weeks. So we'll see how that works out. But I think we'll be okay.
I agree.
We'll move to defense, man. What do you think about this defense? They're going to be elite. I mean, they was number 1 and number 2 in DVOA and EPA. So the 2 top efficiency stats, they was top 3. They was number 2 in one, number 3 in the other one.
I'm overly excited about this defense. I mean, just looking at, and I know it's preseason, but this is probably the most talented group of safeties that I can remember us having in 4, 5, 6 years. Marquise Bell, I was tweeting about it nonstop during the offseason. if this kid can see it, if he has a quick learning curve, he may take over and be our starter. He has that type of ability. And then you have Mukwamu, who's coming into a backup role, kind of coming into his own.
I love what he did in preseason, dude.
Oh, I
was
it too.
really impressed, like overly impressed with what he done.
And then you got Big Bo, a guy that we were really hard on last year. The few snaps I saw of him, I saw improvement. And based off of the preseason or the first depth chart, it looks like he's penciled in to be the first guy. So we'll see what happens with that. But we have real depth at defensive tackle, which will open up things for our defensive ends. And regardless of what our fans think, I think this is a better defensive end group this year than last year, even with Randy Gregory.
I do believe it is too.
And then
I think you can. I think you got multiple people you could rotate in and out, and I think they're just going to get out to the passer.
Yeah, and then you upgraded at a linebacker with Anthony Barr.
Yes.
So, if you're afraid of getting Van Der Esch in space, you've got a linebacker who plays amazing in space. If you need another pass rusher from that linebacker spot, outside of Micah Parsons and maybe one or two other guys, there's probably not a better interior linebacker pass rushing than Anthony Barr. So there's a lot of chess pieces that could be moved around. And despite what a lot of our fan base thinks, our corners were probably no worse than top 10 last year. And the kid that we drafted out of the 5th round, Bland, is really showing me something.
Do you remember what me and you and Professor O was saying about him?
Yes, I remember. Yeah. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it didn't make me feel bad especially when Professor O says it, I'm like, all right, I was wrong, but so was fucking goddamn Matt.
I was wrong too.
Yeah, no, but he's all three wrong. Yeah. I didn't see him. I saw him as a safety, and I didn't think there was room for him in the safety room. And he came out, and he's quarterback 4, and there's not even no argument about it.
Yeah.
And he actually could challenge for cornerback 3. Cornerback 3. Yeah. So yeah, no, he that's another one. Him and Muck probably was my 2 biggest surprises and my 2 biggest likes I liked out of the preseason on the defensive side. But yeah, no, typically defenses regress after a year like we had last year. It's hard to sustain a good defense year in, year out. Unlike offenses, you can kind of sustain them because if you have a good quarterback, that offense will be sustained. There's no position on defense that can sustain one position that can sustain a good defense like a quarterback can on offense.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this was a young defense, and so I don't see a regression. I actually see them getting better just because a lot of these kids did in their first year. Mm-hmm. You know, Parsons first year, Gosens first year, Gallimore. I mean, hell, it's kind of his second year last year, but hell, he missed a lot of time and shit like that. So I mean, I think he looks like he's taking another step. Bo, you mentioned Bo. It wasn't that we were so hard on Bo. We were so hard on Bo's fucking fan club. Like I always said, Bo was not ready last year. And I said he might be that future one tech that we want. I was like, but people are seeing something that they want to see, and he just wasn't it last year. And it played out that he wasn't it last year. But I said, hey, next year he might be that guy. And it turned out, looks like he's going to be that guy this year. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
you know,
no problem.
It's just sometimes this fan base they get up on a dick and they can't get off of it. It's just like they just ride it till it's raw. It's like, man, y'all need to back off. This kid, he's a kid. He's 6th round draft pick. He's got a lot of shit he got to work on. He worked on it and he looks good this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, up and down the defensive line, dude. I mean, Jesus Christ. Chauncey can play inside out. Osa, inside out. Gallimore, 1 or 3 tech. Fucking D-Law, inside out.
Sam Williams,
inside out. I mean,
it's just standing up.
Yeah, they have so much shit that they can do with this fucking defense. I've seen them practice and shit. And in some of the preseason games, they'd come up lined up in some fucked up looking scheme, like everybody's standing up, or you know, some people who's down that normally ain't down, people who's up that's normally down.
Yep.
So I look for some exotic fucking things to come out of this defense this year. And fucking Parsons, dude, that fucking.
And we haven't even talked about Parsons yet.
Yeah, he just wrecks shit. Like he didn't play in the preseason, but fucking practices, man. It's just like nobody can block him. Everybody was worried about Steele because he kept beating Steele. But goddamn, nobody on Denver could block him. Nobody on fucking the Chargers could block him, and nobody on the Seahawks could block him.
Yep.
Like, I mean, he just dominated every fucking practice, every fucking control practice against other teams. So, I mean, still getting beat by Parsons does not worry me. Fucking Parsons was beating fucking Tyron Smith before he got hurt. He was fucking beating him like a drum at times. So that dude's he's on another level. And that's another one I was fucking wrong on. I got video of me saying one of the worst draft picks ever. And he turns out like he is. So, yeah. And Diggs and Brown had a great camp from what I understand, that he's played fucking like he's even improved from last year. And then you have fucking Diggs, and you got Bland that if something happens, he has to step in. I trust him. Then you got Curse. Then you got Hooker. You got Muck. I mean, it kind of just keeps going. It just keeps going and going and going. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what this defense is going to do. Real excited. There's so much to watch. And there's so many people. That's the only thing that sucks. It's so hard to keep up with who's in there. You're watching a play, somebody makes a sack, next play, somebody makes a sack, and hell, 3 people that was in there before wasn't even in there. It's a whole new defensive line. So I have to keep up with it when I'm watching it this year. Just trying to figure out who's in there and who's not. But yeah, like I said, typically defenses regress after a year last year. I think they might regress on the turnovers, because turnovers is one of the big things that is almost impossible to do year in, year out. Like, if you look at the last 10 years of top 5 in turnovers, rarely do you see a repeater. Rarely do you see a repeater every 3 years. I mean, it's just hard to do that because so much goes into a turnover. A lot of it's luck. And I'm not taking anything from Diggs or anybody else did, but some of it's just fucking luck. And then some of it's skill, but they're typically, you can't sustain that kind of turnover. Hell, we might not. We might hit it again or get better, but I think that might regress a little bit. But I think there's a lot of other things that would help us, that will be better against the run. We'll be better against the pass, as far as maybe not getting picks, but being covered and pass breakups. Yeah, third downs and shit like that, to where teams won't score as much. We might not get as much turnovers, but we'll be better at everything else.
Yeah. I mean, when one corner has 11 interceptions by himself, you got to expect there to be a
like reduction. I mean, Diggs can have 7 interceptions this year and still lead the league, but that's a big drop off from last year, and still be better than he was last year. So I mean, it's like I said, sometimes interceptions a little lucky. Sometimes, like the first one against Tampa last year, it fucking bounced right into his hands. It hit the fucking running back, came up, and he was right there. So, I mean, he was there, so you give him credit for it. I'm not taking anything away from him. But, I mean, every pick that Dion got wasn't a fucking skill play. He got some lucky ones, too. Darryl Green, fucking Woodson, all the greats. I mean, not every interception they got was a perfect fucking play by them. Some of it was just fucking quarterback made the wrong read and threw it right to him.
So we just named a lot of defensive guys. So everybody in the comments also, let us know, who's the one defensive guy you're most forward to looking at this year? And don't say Micah. Anybody other than Micah.
Yeah, fuck Micah. Don't.
We can all say Micah.
Yeah. Some people want to see another year out of him before they're impressed.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, you remember our MCF collab?
Yeah, you're right. I disregard those people.
Yeah,
so Charlie, you got a guy? Anybody you really want to see year 2 that you think is going to take a step forward?
Oh, Osa. And I'm biased because I fell in love with him last year. I mean, I think I gave him a D or a C- something when we drafted him. But first preseason game, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my fucking dude. And I thought he played great last year, but I did think he tailed off at the end which happens with college kids coming out of
Right.
college because they're used to the 11, 12 game. Usually by December, they're done. Their football's done, and you're still fucking going at it in NFL. That's the most important month. So, yeah, Osa. But again, I'm biased, and I think he's going to have a fucking huge year. That's probably the only one. I mean, all of them, but that's my favorite one. I mean, I'm interested to see how much playing time Muck would get and what he'll do. You know, Sam Williams, that's another one. That rookie, I'm interested to see how they're going to use him. You know, on what downs they use him on, how they going to put him out there. Gallimore is another one. That dude is fucking huge now, dude. He's a fucking monster.
You didn't say the one we were all looking for, Charlie.
What? Oh, I forgot all about my Cox. Yeah, no, yeah, him too. But I still would pick Gallimore. But yeah, Jabril Cox, that's another one. I guess he'll start. I mean, if you start on base defense, I guess it would be. It'd be Parsons.
On the opening depth chart that came out today, it had Parsons and LVE listed, and it was an interesting note. There was no linebacker. It listed 3 safeties. So it had Hooker, Wilson, and Curse on the opening depth chart.
I didn't notice that. I just glanced over it. Yeah, I mean, because I guess Cox, I mean, if you have 3 linebackers out there, which rarely happens anymore, even if you went 3 linebackers, it would be, I would think it'd be LVE, Parsons, and what's we call it? New guy. My mind's going blank. So, yeah, that'd be interesting. But he's definitely going to get more playing time this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm always excited to see Cox. I mean, you know, I love Cox. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. I do want to see how much Bill plays. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mendoza. Me and fucking Marcus sitting here playing
at the same time.
Playing fucking pity pat. Fucking. I want to see how much Bill plays. I want to see how Ferg and Henderson does. Hendershot.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, fucking Hendershot. I mean, I love the fucking Ferguson pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know a lot about Hendershot, but I like what I've seen.
Yeah, Jack Meeker. Based off of preseason, he was playing a lot of 3-tech.
A lot of inside. Yep.
But if you look at the initial depth chart, it has him listed as right defensive end, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I think when it comes to defense side of the ball, I think that depth chart is going to be kind of open to interpretation.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be real fluid because I think what they come out with on the first play, from that point on, it's just going to be a mix of a bunch of shit. You know, because first of all, you got Parsons. Does he line up off the ball? Does he line up with his hand in the dirt? Does he line up as an edge but standing up? You can put that fucker anywhere, you know, and then that switches everything else up. You know, does D-Law move in? You know, I mean, you can literally have Parsons, D-Law, Osa, and Sam Williams all rushing the passer on one down.
That's true.
And if you even want to blitz, you can have linebacker. Why am I forgetting his name? Barr. Yeah.
Barr.
And Barr. You can have Barr as a linebacker stand up rushing too. So I mean, you have a shitload of pass rushers that can get after the quarterback. And D-Law looks good this year, man. He's lost some weight.
Yeah.
He's stand up. He cut the dreads off, which surprised me. Which that ain't gonna make no difference in this play, but he looks different without no dreads.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see who plays that right defensive end though, because I feel like that person should be set up to improve.
I'm forgetting about your boy Armstrong. And hell, he's turning into my boy because of you. Like fuck, I was so happy we re-signed him for $6.5 million. You know, so you got him, which is he's improved every fucking year. The more snaps he's got, he's improved every fucking year. And if somebody fucking 4 or 5 months ago said, well, he's hit his peak.
He's 24.
Like how the fuck do you hit your peak at 25, 24 years old? And how do you hit your peak when you've improved every fucking year that you got more snaps, you've improved? So yeah, no, that's another guy. Yeah, but dude, you didn't really hear about him during training camp. But what I heard, I don't know if it was Hellman or somebody reported, just because you didn't hear about him, don't mean he didn't show up. That he had a great camp. It's just so many other people have. You had Bland, you had Muck, you had Parsons does Parsons shit. You know, you just had so many doing something. You had Gallimore, not Gallimore, but Bo, got a little hype in practice and shit. So there was just so much shit going on. And you have so many pass rushers. Hell, you didn't hear a lot about D-Law either. Sure. He kind of went unheard of during the fucking training camp and shit. Yeah, I think DH starts too. Yeah, I think, dude, there's going to be a big rotation. It's going to be. I think we're going to see big rotation, a lot of different looks, a lot of people standing up. That's normally with their hand in the dirt. A lot of people with their hand in the dirt. That's normally in the hand in the dirt. They're going to be standing up. You're going to have people playing D-end, one play, defense tackle, next play. It's going to be fun to watch. This probably one of the, can't remember last time. This probably one few years that I'm more excited about the defense than I am the offense. Not that I think the offense is going to suck. I think they're going to be better than everybody thinks. Yeah. But it's just, this is possibly the best defense I've seen. And I shouldn't say this, probably the best defense I've seen since the 90s Cowboys. Potential defense that I've seen since the 90s Cowboys. Because it's similar to the 90 Cowboys where they have so many fucking players. Because them 90 Cowboys, like that 92, 93 team, dude, they consistently rolled in 18 players that got significant snaps on that defense. I mean, they had a shitload of players that they just, think about this. Darren Woodson didn't even start in 1992.
Right.
He wasn't even a starter. He didn't start to 93. That's how fucking good that defense was and how deep they were. So, again, I'm not going to compare them to that dynasty team. I'm just saying potentially in the depth-wise and the playmakers, it's very similar to the 90s teams. I think they'll be at least equally to the fucking 2000, like 6, 7, 8 with Brady and all them on it. That's a pretty good defense.
Yep.
How's your fantasy going, Bubba?
I'm down to my last 2 picks. I'm pretty.
You nailing it? Are you nailing it?
Not that good.
But yeah, I think Muck's going to eventually start too. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. I mean, win maybe next year after that. I mean, but we'll see. But yeah, he was very impressive. Chat makers, does this feel like Ray Lewis led Ravens that used to mess with Peyton Manning by moving around pre-snap, standing up and swinging spots? Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to a lot of them zone blitz defenses and them, like the Pittsburgh defense, the Ravens defense, where they can just come at you from anywhere on the field. They can come at you from the edge, up the middle, both. They just, a lot of good fucking football players on them teams. Safety's so good. Donovan Wilson used to be the best we had. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't know if he's ever the best, but he's definitely got knocked down the fucking depth chart. When he's your, fourth safety or third or fourth safety, you got a pretty damn good team. Yeah, you got a pretty damn good safety room.
I think Bell's the backup free. I think he earned that.
See, that's another guy, man. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Because Wilson was awful at free.
Yeah, you got to. Man, I can't wait this fucking Sunday now talking about it. It's just going to be so much shit. And we're going against a good offense. And we're going to, but they're kind of banged up too. We're talking about our O-line. They're having a little bit of O-line issues over there.
A lot.
Then they got Brady going off on whatever he was doing for 11 fucking days. Right. And coming back and looking like he fucking been smoking crack for 11 days. You see that fucking picture of him? That
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
he's all shriveled up and his face is all sunk in. I'm like, damn, dude, you're gonna have to. No, you don't eat meat, but you're gonna have to eat a steak or something there, son.
Him and his wife
Fucking.
breaking up and then getting back together. You heard
Is
those
that what
stories?
happened? I don't keep up with drama or anything like that. But I did see somewhere that him and his wife was having issues.
Right.
But I didn't see the whole story.
That did briefly come out.
But the thing about people like Brady, and they was talking about it today on the radio, guys like that, they can block that shit out and just fucking go play a ball like nothing's going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just built that way. Brett Favre and his dad died. You know, motherfuckers like that just they can leave the fucking that and walk on a football field and they're locked in and ready to go.
So we've done all this talking about defense, Charlie. Let's go back to offense real quick.
Let's go.
We got to talk about the hot button subject, and it's always the quarterback, Dak Prescott. With all that's been going on, with all the changes we made, how do you think this affects him on the field? Like, do you think this causes him to regress? Does it put too much on his shoulders?
No. I know people saying that they're Jerry using Dak as a scapegoat. I don't think they're using him as a scapegoat. That's just how the fuck they are. They did it to Romo. When Romo got paid big, they kind of like, well, you know, we're paying him, so we can't pay everybody. Top shit. That's just fucking them. I don't think they're actually trying to fuck him over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll regress. Like you said earlier, this ain't 2018 because everybody's trying to compare it to 2008. Look what happened in 2018. Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, that 2018 wide receiver room didn't have CeeDee Lamb. So just give me CeeDee Lamb and put any other fucking wide receivers in that room you want, and that fucking wide receiver room is better than anything we had in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Just for CeeDee Lamb alone. All right. Second thing, 2022 Dak is a better player than 2018 Dak. 2018 Dak was in his third year, coming off a rough year the year before, and you know a lot of people was talking. Well, yeah, is he really as good as he was 2006? So I mean, and they and the thing about that is, even though Kellen Moore sometimes reminds me of Scott Linehan, he'll pull out some bullshit plays and some conservative plays. He's still creative. He still has more creativity than either one of them does. So when we went to that offense, I wasn't upset because I thought, all right, cool. Finally, we're going to change this offense because that old offense required a number one wide. You had to have a Dez. You had to have a Michael Irvin. You had to have that guy to run that offense. So without a Dez, I'm like, all right, cool. We'll change it. We'll have a little bit more motion, some more creativity, some more crossing routes, you know, and stuff like that. Passes, you know, towards the hashes instead of outside the numbers. And none of that happened. Me and my son went to the first game of the year that year against the Giants. No, I'm sorry. That was the year before. But yeah, 2018, I was like, what are we doing? It's like, I have no clue. Like, then I was against cutting Dez. I was like, well, if you was going to fucking do this, Dez wasn't the receiver he used to be, but goddamn, you know, he was better, number one, and a possession top receiver than anybody we had on the team. But yeah. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't against what we did in 2018. I was just against us not adjusting to what we did in 2018. You know, and then what did we do? We had to bring Cooper in. You know, so
I see we got.
But yeah, I don't think he'll regress. I think he'll be fine. I think CeeDee Lamb is better than anybody we have on that 2018 team. Hell, I think fucking Brown is better or as good as anybody we had on that 2018 wide receiver group.
I couldn't disagree with that.
I you know, then you have Turpin and Simi and shit like that. That's kind of what we had as our whole receiver room is them type of receivers.
Yep.
So, you know, and plus Gallup's coming back at some point, you know, by 4 games. So then you have him. So yeah, no, I don't think he'll regress. And plus, like you said, you have Hendershot, you have Ferguson, you have Schultz, you know, so you got a lot of weapons in the passing game. You got a lot of options in the passing game.
And Pollard, if they choose to use them.
And Pollard, if they choose to use them. Oh, that's a whole nother fucking subject there. I can talk an hour for. That's another one. I'll be interested to see how they're going to use Pollard this year.
Yeah. And Jack, you bring up a point right here. Interesting point, good point. They say we have to feed CD, but that's not Dak's MO. Go back to last year. We haven't talked about this. The Bucs don't have a good secondary. Like they have a
No, they
corner.
don't.
They have safety we all know because we loved them in the draft. But you look at the rest of their secondary, and I mean, there are holes all over it. They showed it all last season. And you go back and look at last year's game against the Bucs. CD had 15 targets, 7 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown. So even if they're similar to last year, that's a lot of targets for one guy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Coop may have had about 12 targets that game also. So
No, Coop had 17.
He had 17.
Yeah, 16.
Okay.
So he had more. He had more than Lamb did.
Right.
Yeah, they both
So
had a shitload of targets.
Exactly. So that may not be Dak's MO, but when you got a team with a secondary as bad as that, and a guy gets open, you hit him.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Say hello to my Cowboys wife, Amy. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, no, some people's like, fucking, well, they're just going to double CD every down. No, fucktards. No team doubles one player every down. I mean, you're going to look at fucking Devontae Adams is the most double team wide receiver, and he wasn't in double team 50% of the time. It was, I think it was 25, 30. So, and that's a lot. You know, so no, they can't double him every time. And they've already talked about fucking playing CD both in the slot and out wide to Kellen Moore was talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
So teams can't just focus on him. And he said they get a lot of practice of that in practice because their defense doubles him and shows him different looks. You know, stuff like that to, you know, because that's how they do it. So yeah, no, like I said, I think CD's going to have a fucking huge year. I think I can't remember what exactly I predicted, like 92 catches, 1,400 yards, some shit like that, and probably 8 touchdowns. You know, he could have more touchdowns than that, but I think I gave 8. Hell, I might have gave 10. I have to go look it up. But
and going back to what we talked about earlier, and I know we keep circling back to this. Okay, they could double CD Lamb with a safety. You're gonna put their linebackers up against Dalton Schultz and Peyton Hendershot because we hype their linebackers up. They're not good against the coverage. They're great against the run. They're elite against the run, but in space, none of them are good. So
I think a lot of people forget about that. See, they say, well, they're going to double CD, and then Brown's going to have to, you know, beat his guy, and we're going to have to rely on Brown and Tolbert, rookie. I'm like, no, we got fucking, you got Pollard that you could put out there. You got fucking Schultz that you can think, well, I don't think we should pay him, but he's a good fucking tight end, and he's real good for our system. So he's going to get his. And then you have 2 young guys that have shown everything I want them to show in preseason, you know, to make me believe that they're going to be fine. So, yeah, you have a lot of other shit. It ain't like you throw the CD. If you don't, you got to throw the Brown. Goddamn, fucking, you must not watch the Cowboys often if you think that. I mean, that there's other fucking weapons. And I think that's what people get tied up on too much. Like I said, you and Rocker brought up a point I never thought about, is that I think everybody thinks passing game, wide receivers. Wide receivers, the passing game. You know, we don't have the wide receivers. Oh, shit, what are we going to do? We'll be fine. I don't see a fucking heavy hit on us, you know, and goddamn, dude, I hope we don't go in and try and establish the run. And Jerry's been talking about it during the offseason and shit. And Mike McCarthy talked about it too, but I don't worry about what McCarthy says because he said that all last offseason too. And we came out first game fucking throwing it 50 times. So, I mean, I don't worry about what he says in the public. And Mike McCarthy you go through his history, he's never been an established run guy. And in Green Bay, he always talked about it. Establish the run. We got to get the run game going. Then he'd come out and throw the ball fucking 35 times. So I don't worry about what he says in public.
Right.
He's a PFF guy. So if you're a PFF guy and you're an analytics guy, you automatically know established run is bullshit. That's just word to the fans, word to Jerry, shit like that, make them happy because he doesn't believe in that.
So I was talking about defense. Offense, who's the guy you're most looking forward to seeing outside of the the guys we know are the two top guys.
Yeah, Dak and Lamb.
Yeah.
And
Schultz.
And Schultz. Shit, man. I'm in some ways I'll pick Tyler Smith.
Okay.
Even though I'm fucking scared shitless of what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But I am eager to see how he's going to handle this. But other than that, it'd be Hendershot. I don't know how much he's playing time he's going to get, but I'll be eager to see how he's going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm kind of with you. I would probably say the same thing you said about Tyler Smith. I would say it about Connor McGovern.
There you go. Yeah, that's good. That's a fair one. I guess, and also I'd have to put a 1B is Turpin. I'm interested to see how exactly they're going to use him on offense and how much they're going to use him on offense. Because, like I said, they said yesterday that they don't think him as a gadget player. That they thinking that they're playing him as a wide receiver, not just a gadget player. So I think he's going to get more snaps than what people thought he was going to get.
At 175 pounds, he better get down quick.
Or he better fucking outrun him. Yeah, he is a little guy.
Yep.
But Bones was talking about that yesterday. He said he's little. He said, but he's one of the toughest players he's ever coached. He said he's like, he said on kickoff returns, he said he wants to run right towards the guys.
Right.
He said he runs straight. He don't try to go around him. He just wants to run straight towards him and get to a hole and break it. He said at 5'9", 155, 160 pounds, he said a lot of people don't want to do that. Bigger guys don't want to do that. So
yeah.
Yeah, he said that's what's surprising, that how good he was at kickoff returns. He said because typically punt returners can't do kickoff return. But typically guys that size aren't kickoff return guys. It's bigger ones. It's your running backs that weigh 200, 205, 215, or wide receivers that weigh that much. He's typically, you don't got a 170-pound dude fucking returning kicks.
Yeah. I talk about that all the time too. When people say, just throw Tony Pollard that punt. You can't do that. Different type of position.
Yeah, it's two totally different types. Yeah, two totally different types. All right, going on in the chat, we still got Meeker with us.
Pat Campbell asked a question.
Patty Pat. Oh shit!
I actually on my show, I do over under, and this was one of them.
I'd say 4. Or y'all doing this tomorrow night, right?
Yeah. For Just Smith, you think he has 4 holding penalties? Or you said
if he plays left tackle, yeah, I think that's the over under. I mean, like whether you want to pick over or you want to pick under, maybe a lot of people pick under, but yeah, I'm going to go 4. I mean, dude, he's handsy. He just, I
agree.
And the thing about it is, a lot of his holds aren't just like inside and he just takes it too far, and the refs see it. Like, he fucking grabs them, like on their shoulder pads and behind the shoulder pads. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. It's some of his fucking holding is like really bad. Like, fucking, it's just like you're almost tackling them. That one against Denver, all the fans like, that wasn't holding. I'm like, the fuck you mean it wasn't holding? The motherfucker, I had a screenshot it. He had him by his jersey from behind. Right. And the guy's trying to get away. It's like, that's fucking getting called every time. Then the other one where everybody thought he pancaked him, I'm like, he had a similar play right before that, like a play or 2 plays before that, where they didn't call that, but he did have him in front, and sometimes that get called, but that player never tried to jerk away and show that he was trying to get away, and he was able to take him down. That second one, if you watch it from the reverse view, he has him right here, and that player is pushing, trying to get away from him, and he's not letting him. He just keeps driving him to the ground. And that's going to get called 9 times out of 10. I mean, they're going to miss some of them. And that's another thing. They start about the 2 that shouldn't have been holding. Hell, dude, I counted 3 more that they didn't call. Yeah, I mean, he and one of them, I don't know how the fuck they missed, because he did his famous, he wrapped him around and had him right here by the fucking jersey, back behind the shoulder pads. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck they missed that.
Yep.
But yeah, no, he scares the shit out of me, man. He said, I think he's somebody eventually will be good, if not great. I just don't know how good or great he's going to be this year. Yeah. I'm not predicting he's going to suck. I'm worried. It's not like if he goes out there and plays great, I'm going to be surprised. But right now, yeah, he concerns me a little bit.
I was thinking 2 holding calls when I thought about it. They got Shaq Barrett out there. He's going to get isolated pretty much the whole game as much as possible. That's kind of scary because Shaq Barrett is one of those guys the average fan doesn't know, but that dude is top 15 pass rusher in the league. Jack Meeker asked the question, how much did that drill Duke Merriweather does with Tyler in the hand thing, keep his hands inside help? My answer to that, he hasn't had long enough to have it as muscle memory because you got to use that old Mike Tyson saying, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. So you can get on the machine all you want to and it look all pretty on social media. But until you got a 3-time double-digit sack guy in front of you and it's 3rd and 8 and he's coming, that machine's not going to do you any good at that point because you're in survival mode.
Yeah, Duke's great, but I mean, he can't work miracles in 6 months. I mean, players, you can see people who work with him, their progression from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, they keep getting better, but he can only do so much in the short time he's had with them.
Right.
But yeah, I expect Tyler to do good. I expect him to be a good pro. It's just he's a rookie, and we're fucking throwing him out at left tackle. His first NFL game will be at left tackle, a position that he has not fucking took significant snaps at since December of last year in college.
At Tulsa.
Think about that for a second.
At Tulsa.
Not Bama. That's the last time he played left tackle was in college in December of last year. Because what he did in OTAs don't make a shit. That was May 5th. That was without pads. I don't even count that shit. That just wash that out. He didn't even do that. So significant snaps. The last time he did it was December last year at Tulsa. Going against that competition. Now he's going against fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense with Shaq Barrett. And it's the first time he's ever played left tackle in the pros. Again, it scares the fucking shit out of me. It's just that's a scary, scary thought. But hey, if he does great, I'll give him credit for it. And I hope he does. I don't even give a shit if he does great. Just don't wreck the fucking game. Don't give up 4 fucking sacks, 5 fucking holding penalties, and just wreck the whole goddamn offense. A couple holding penalties, maybe a sack, sack and a half, whatever. Just don't wreck the whole fucking game.
Yeah. If he has 2 holding calls and gives up a sack and a half, I would probably still say that's a good game for him.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'll take that. I mean, fucking Tyron Smith's giving up 2 holds in a game. I mean, in a sack. I mean, so it's not like Tyron Smith's perfect. I
didn't want to say the name, Jack, but that's what I was thinking. If he doesn't give me this type of game, I'm good.
Now, you know what? I'll give you an example. Chaz Green is a great example. In 2016, when he had to step in for Tyron, he played great. You didn't even, I'm not going to say you didn't miss Tyron, but it wasn't a significant notice. All right. In 2017, they decided to switch him to guard. All right. All off season, from mini camps to OT, he was a guard. In the preseason, he was a fucking guard. In the regular season in practice, he was a fucking guard. Then as soon as Tyron went down, they're like, all right, we'll throw you there at left tackle. And people was like, oh, he sucks. Well, he fucking never got snaps at left tackle. His whole training the whole year was at fucking guard, at left guard. This is what we're doing with Tyron Smith right now. This whole training has been at left guard.
That's a great
And now we're throwing him out there. And Chaz Green had NFL experience. He fucking played left tackle the year before and played well. This fucking dude's never fucking played left tackle in the NFL. And the first fucking time he's going to take a snap is in the first regular season game. If that doesn't at least scare you a little bit, I don't know. Then you're a fearless motherfucker. Because that's got to at least scare you a little bit. But yeah, Mendoza said 2.5. Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, Maybe 4 is too high. Maybe I set the over under too high, but he, like I say, I can't emphasize enough that he scares me. Doesn't mean I think he sucks. Doesn't mean I don't think he can't be a left tackle at some point. But first game of the NFL season, playing it for the first time all year since December last year at college, yeah, I'm a little worried. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm scared a little bit. You know, but hey,
I gotta go.
Here's the hope, and he goes out there and kicks ass and just dominates and becomes the next Tyron Smith. You know, fucking, we can all hope. Tyron's still out to December, right? And probably the whole year. Typically, probably.
I think he's out for the year. That's just wishful thinking.
I know. Fucking Pat No C. He had reported the night before that Tyron walked out with no knee brace, no leg brace, no limp, just walked to his car. And then the next day it was discovered he had tore his hamstring from his knee.
And
he was like, this dude, he said, I wake up on the wrong side of the bed and I can't walk or get up. He said, this dude tears his hamstring from his knee and walks out of the facility with no limp, like no brace, no favor in it, like it ain't nothing. And I'm like, that is a pretty bad motherfucker, dude. Because that just sounds painful. Just rip your muscle completely off your bone. That just, God, man, that don't even sound fun.
So pregame Sweat has put this question up a couple times, Charlie. So I guess we have to address it.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So he says, do we go for it on 4th and 2 points or nah?
I guess we're talking about because Mars our kicker.
I guess.
Well, whether Mars our kicker or fucking old Dan Bailey or I don't give a shit who it is, I'm a go for it guy and I'm a 2-point conversion guy, especially go for it guy. So, yeah, I think we should go for it more. But in fairness, it has nothing to do with our kicker. You know, only thing that kicker does, a bad kicker does, is just emphasize it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for going for it. My philosophy, and very few people agree with me. If it's beyond the 50-yard line and it's 4th and 5 or less, I'm going for it. That's just me. I'm just going to go for it because you're kind of in no man's land there a little bit. Punting it ain't going to do no good. But if you fucking kick a field goal, it's going to be over 50 yards. When a kicker misses a 50-yard field goal longer, I don't really blame the kicker. That's just like, I mean, them ain't chip shots. So that's just me. I don't worry about kickers. You know, I'm not saying we won't lose a game because of them, but I just, you know, I feel like, I don't know. I'm a go for it guy.
So the lunatic asked the question: if J. Lou,
the lunatic's in the house.
Yeah, he said he's really. I
said I'm really late. Let's fucking go.
All right, Charlie. So J. Lou gets hurt. Who you bringing in, Bland or Joseph?
Oh, Bland. Fucking Bland. I don't even know why. I'm not so sure I would even fucking kept Joseph on the fucking team. But I probably had some bias in that where I think he's a fucking moron. And I think the fact that he got out of what happened with basically, I guess, because he rolled some people over or some shit like that, I think it's fucked up. I mean, if you're in a fucking vehicle and another dude kills a man, I'm sorry. I know all about the goddamn fucking street code. People don't understand how I grew up, but trust me, I fucking know about the street code. All right, I'm rolling the motherfucker over. I'm not sitting, not with somebody's life. You know, like when you take somebody's life, I gotta roll you over. I'm not gonna take the chance of me getting involved in that shit.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna wait till the cops find me because of video and then fucking roll you over. I'm rolling you over from the get go. Because if the cops wouldn't have been no video or saw him, right now he'd be playing football and nobody'd ever know that he was in that fucking car. And nobody know who killed that guy. And I can't be down with that. Yeah. I can't go with age either. Well, he's young. Dude, I don't give a fuck. There's a certain, you know better at fucking at his age not to do stupid shit like that. But his play on the field was bad. It just was not good. And that's another one. Nashawn Wright. He's improved, but he needs a lot of work.
Still a long way away.
No ways away. And I guess his coverage overall ain't bad, but I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback not look back for the ball or have a problem finding the ball as bad as he did. I mean, because there was times he was right there with the receiver, and he just wasn't turning around. He turned around, he couldn't see the ball. So, but yeah, no, Bland is quarterback 4, and to me, there's not even a debate about that.
Definitely.
I mean, I can argue that depending on how the regular season goes and his playing time, he might need to be cornerback 3. I'm not sold on J-Lu. I'm not like a big J-Lu fan. I'm not sour on him. I'm not overly impressed with him and think that, Bland couldn't replace him. I think Bland could replace him.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in his career, he's done nothing to say he's just solidified himself.
Yeah.
As a no question number 3 corner.
Yeah.
So
he's grabby. Yes, I agree with you, Mendoza.
Jack Mika, thank you for the compliment. We really appreciate it. I always appreciate your support and you staying in the comments with great questions.
Yeah, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
Did you know pregame sweat?
All the new people, be sure you hit that like button. I want to keep reminding y'all. I got to do that better. Hit that like, leave a comment. Like I said, the likes helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps get it shared on more platforms. It's showing people is actually watching it and paying attention to it. Even a dislike button will actually help out. Not as much as a like, but yeah, just like it. That's showing people that people's viewing it and they like it and they'll share it more in different areas and shit.
So the lunatic coming in with the tough questions.
The lunatic always has tough questions.
Who do you trust more, 73 going solo against Tampa Bay at the end, or Maher making a 46-yard field goal?
Who do you trust more, 73 going solo? 73 going solo. Oh.
So do you trust Tyler Smith going solo against Shaq Barrett or Maher making a field goal?
I probably would trust Maher kicking a 46-yard field goal more. With that said, it still doesn't change me wanting to go for it because I trust Dak will make a play. I trust Dak is probably going to know that, hey, this motherfucker ain't blocking well for me. And I think that he can get out of it or do something to fucking make a play. Either throw it quicker, either roll out, or get the fuck out of there and make a play. Because I think he's going to run the ball more this year too. I think him definitely being completely healthy and him slimming down and everything, I think he's going to run the ball more too. And believe it or not, I'm not down on Kellen Moore. I trust that if Kellen Moore is seeing he's getting beat like a drum and it's a 4th down and say 2 or 3 and they got to pass it, I trust Kellen Moore will call something to get Dak out of the harm's way of his fucking left tackle. So, yeah. I trust more, yes, but it still doesn't change my thought on going for it. But like I said, I'm biased, man. This ain't something new for me because Tyler Smith's out there. Last year we had Tyron Smith, and I wanted to go for it more. Hell, 2016 and 16, we had a great offensive line, and I still wanted to go for it more. You know, mostly because we did have a great offensive line. You know, so it doesn't really matter to me. I like going for it. That's why I probably get fired as a head coach. Unless I play with the PB team. Hell, I'm not even get fired with the PB team as much as I'd go for it. Conspiracy with Steven and Jerry mentioning Dak's contract. Man, that scared the shit out of me. My dog's underneath my table scratching, and my whole floor started shaking. I thought, damn, dude, what the hell? Is that me? He can lift up wide receiver room and extend him in 23 and 3. I definitely think they're going to extend him. His cap hit next year is $49 million. So they have 2 choices: extend him to drop that cap hit, or they got enough years left on they can restructure it one more time.
Well, he only signed a 4-year deal, right? And this will be year
3. 2. 21. Yeah, this would be year 2. Yeah. He signed it in 21.
So next year 2. Year 3.
Yeah, next year will be year 3. And then the 4th year, he got 2 voidable years, though.
That's true.
To help restructure it. So, yeah, I look for them to extend him after this year or restructure it one more time and extend him going into his final year of his contract.
Yeah.
You know, so. All right, Pat. Later, dude.
Yeah, he just better not wait till after. They better not wait till Joe Burrow signs his contract, because Joe Burrow is gonna reset the market again, especially if he has another good
season. Dak's gonna get his extension. It'll be pushing $50 million.
Oh yeah, if Deshaun Watson got $249 guaranteed.
Yeah, I think the only reason it might be low, I don't know. Dak might on this one will take a little less and won't haggle with it as much because he got. I mean, fuck, he's going to end up getting what guaranteed like 100 or something fucking billion, 99 million fully guaranteed or whatever it was, some crazy shit like that. So he got paid. So this next time he might not haggle with it as much and accept a little less. But even accepting less, he's still gonna get fucking paid.
Yep.
I mean, he ain't gonna accept fucking out of the top 10 paid, because right now he's 9, so he's gonna get fucking above that. Charlie, Joe Burrow and fucking Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
both them. Hey, go.
Did you see the thing about Sean Payton with the FanDuel?
No, interview? I didn't see. I when I was scrolling through, I seen somebody was interviewing him, and they was talking about the Cowboys in the Bucs game, but I didn't see all of it. What happened?
No, he was just praising the team. He mentioned everybody but Mike McCarthy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it. Anybody who wants Sean Payton, I have two opinions. One, my first one is, why the fuck do you want Sean Payton? Like, what has he done that's better than Mike McCarthy? There's nothing. Not a fucking thing he's done as a head coach that was better than Mike McCarthy. My second thing would be, he's not coming here. Like, there is so much shit that would have to happen. First of all, he'd have to want to come here and get out of the booth and get out of TV, and realize that he's going to be working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week again, compared to 4 or 5 hours fucking on a weekend and getting to spend time with his family and his kids and his wife. Second thing is, he's going to want control. He ain't coming in here there's no reason for him to. He's going to want control with any team. Third thing is, he's going to have multiple teams wanting him. So we're going to have to outbid him because he's not a free agent. You're going to have to give New Orleans something to get him in here. So another team's going to be willing to offer more draft picks, because you know how this team is with draft picks. They cherish them. They're going to have to offer more draft picks than another team. They're going to have to pay him as much as another team or more, and they're going to have to give him control. I don't see Jerry Jones doing that. There's no reason for Jerry Jones to give up all of that. There's no reason to. For what? For a splash coaching hired? Because for some reason, Cowboy fans love to ride his dick. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, Cowboy fans defend that dude more than fucking Saints fans did. I've seen Saint fans talk more shit about Peyton than I've seen Cowboy fans. Cowboy fans love him. And I've never understood why. He's a good coach. I'm not taking anything, but he's a Hall of Fame coach. He did a lot of good things, but he's done nothing more than Mike McCarthy has. And he's done nothing less. They're basically, like I said on the video last year, we have Sean Payton right now as a head coach. Mike McCarthy is Sean Payton. Sean Payton is Mike McCarthy. They're identical coaches. I mean, there's not a lot that separates them fucking two. So I don't know why everybody wants to think he's going to come here and play hero.
All right, Charlie, we're over an hour and a half. There was another question I wanted to hit. Are we doing game predictions tonight?
Yes, we are. That was my next on my little list. This year I'm going to start taking notes, especially since I'm doing a show by myself.
Yeah.
And I ain't got Eric to host or you to host or Riker to host. I actually got a host. I said I'm going to take some notes. Yeah, defense predictions was the last thing we was going to talk about.
Oh, so the lunatic asked one more question, and we can do whatever you.
No, hey, that just because that's the last thing we're talking about doesn't mean y'all go. Stay in, ask questions.
We'll hit it.
Yeah, we'll hit it. We can go off script. Trust me. Me and Marcus is gone off script many fucking times on talking about something that we didn't even plan on talking about. So we have no problems with it. What's the next question? Give me your defense. See, they have Bo starting, and that surprised me. That surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not because they was down on Bo or because I'm down. I just assumed Osa was going to be your starting 3 tech and Gallimore would be your starting 1 tech. So I don't know. I'm
But
actually just go ahead.
What was interesting about this preseason? Neville Gallimore played into the third quarter in a lot of games, and that was surprising.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yep.
So that was really surprising, and this kind of lines up with that.
Yeah, you're right. He did play. There was times that he played and Bo had his shoulder pads off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so I'm going to go with the depth chart and say that your defense tackle, your starter is going to be Osa and Bo.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's a combination. Shit, I don't even know where to go because then you have who's behind him?
Ridgeway.
You got Ridgeway for the one.
Watkins, if they bring him up.
And then you have Gallimore for the 1 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though he's gaining weight, put on weight, he can still put pressure on the quarterback. He can still play the 3.
Yep.
Then you have fucking Golston that I think is going to be a rotation in the 3. We talked about it earlier, dude. When you wasn't here, this fucking defense, dude, is just that D line is loaded. I mean, it's going to be rotate. We're going to see a lot of different formations. We're going to see a lot of different rotations. Like I said earlier, we're going to have people who normally have their hand in the dirt. We're going to see them standing up. We're going to see people who usually stand up have their hand in the dirt. It's going. I mean, hell, you could put Sam Williams at defense tackle. Like I said earlier, you could literally have Sam Williams, D-Law, Parsons, and Gallimore all on the field at the same time rushing the passer. I mean, Gallimore, Osa. I mean, that could be your 4-year down lineman, which would be fucking awesome.
And one thing to remember about Tampa Bay right now, their starting center is a first-year guy who played tackle in college.
Yep, and that's why I was saying earlier, people talking about our O-line, Tampa Bay's O-line isn't fucking healthy either. They're going through some shit right now too.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie Nettie. I love that fucking name, Eddie Nettie. I love saying it.
Yeah,
y'all gonna have to come on with us next week or something. Come on with me. They dropped out this year. Decided not to do videos, so I told them they're gonna welcome on here anytime. Get with me. I enjoy having them on.
This stuff is hard.
Yeah. Well, that's timing and stuff like that. I told him I totally get it. It sucks that he's doing it because I enjoyed watching him. But yeah, I totally get it. That's why I did. Since January, I've only did 2 shows. This is my 3rd one. It's like I just finding the time to do it. I can't do it like some of them content creators do it.
Yeah.
I don't know their lifestyle. I don't know their wives, their kids, their jobs. I don't know nothing about them. I just know with my life, I'm limited. And because during the season, I'll force myself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if I like, man, I ain't got a lot of time, but I want to knock this one out. During the off season, I ain't forcing myself to do shit. I ain't fucking. It's not that. I love the Cowboys and I keep up with them just as much as anybody, but it's not important to me to get on video to give everybody my opinion. It's not that important. I don't overvalue myself. Like, I don't think my voice needs to be heard all the fucking time during the off season.
So Mendoza asked, do we think they limit Sam Williams, seeing how Osa hit the wall last year?
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think just with the rotation and the guys we have, I think he's just going to be limited. I think a lot of guys is going to be limited. I think D-Law is going to be limited, even more so than he usually is. I think a lot of them is going to, except Parsons. I don't see that. They better not limit that motherfucker. I want him out there as much as he can be. But I think I don't think you're going to see any player get a lot of snaps, like it's, a huge amount of snaps. I think they're going to limit everybody, and not for any reason, just because. I mean, fuck, dude. When you have Sam Williams, you got Mike Parsons, you got D-Law, you have Osa, you have Gallimore, you have Bo, you have Ridgeway,
Fowler,
you have Golston, you have Fowler. I mean, that's just 9 right off the top of my head. There's probably maybe a couple more. I don't know. I can't remember how many they kept, but that's just a lot of fucking people to get in the game and to fucking get after the quarterback and give them opportunities. So yeah, I think a lot of people is going to be limited, just because of the rotation, because the guys we have, the depth that we have, which is a good thing. Because like I said, if you old enough to remember 90 Cowboys, they had a huge rotation on defense. They had 18 different players that got significant snaps on defense in 92 and 93. They and a lot of theirs was in the secondary also. You know, I mean, they had Leon Lett, they had Chad Hennings, they had Russell Maryland, they have Castilla, they have Haley, they have Jeff Coat. I mean, they had a big rotation there. Then they had all their defensive backs rotated. Like I was talking about earlier, fucking Woodson wasn't even a starter in 92. You know, but he got significant snaps. He played a big role on defense, and he wasn't even a starter. That's how deep that shit was.
I was just about to bring this up, Jack Meeker. We didn't even talk about Tristan Hill.
Tristan Hill, yes. Fuck. That's a good catch. I forgot all about him. And he had a good fucking count.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, well, there's another one. He can play 1 or 3, or maybe not a 1, maybe a 3. I don't know. But yeah, that's another one. That's another rotation. Yeah. Fuck. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I named 9. That's like I can't remember who all they kept. You know, not because I didn't study it, just because there was a lot of them. I mean, there was so many ones on there. And that's not counting our practice squad that can come up anytime. You know, like Watkins. Watkins is on our practice squad, right?
Yep.
Then so you got him that's on your practice squad. So there's so many and so many different fucking things they can do, you know. Like I said earlier, man, me and Bill was talking about, dude, talking about this defense makes me, I can't fucking wait for another 5 days or 4 days, whatever it is, till the fucking Sunday night game. Because this is the first time in a long, long time that I've been more excited about the defense than I am the offense. And that's not because I think the offense is bad or it's going to take a step back. I think the offense is still going to be great. But this defense is just, I think, could be special. It could be like really, really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, to where we win. Not that we didn't win some games last year because of them, but some games where they just dominate and they are the sole reason we won the game. Like their offense was just not clicking that day and defense just shut them motherfuckers down. You know, I think we're going to see that at times this year. Where I'm never going to worry about another offense. Like, man, I don't know how, you know, we got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I know we don't play them. I'm just saying, or we do play Green Bay, where I won't worry about our defense against Green Bay. I'm like, yeah, we can handle them. We'll be fine.
Cincinnati week 2.
We got Cincinnati, Tampa Bay. That's what I'm saying. There's nobody out there that fucking scares me with this defense. You know, like last year, I knew Tampa Bay. We was going to have to point them. There was, you know, Kansas City. I thought we was going to have to point them, and we really didn't. Defense played good. Fucking our offense played like pure shit. You know, so yeah, no, but yeah, I don't worry about having to point somebody. You know, I think that's another thing that's going to help Dak. This is the best defense he's ever had. So he ain't going to be forced to fall behind 3 fucking scorers and have to pass the ball fucking 50 times to get out. I think he'll, you know, which worries me because I'm afraid they're going to look at it like, well, let's just run the ball and let's control the clock and win time of possession, because we know win the time of possession how you win games, like some fucking dipshits say all the time. But yeah, no, I think, yeah, I'm excited, man. This is going to be fucking, this is going to be good. Well, when we do our predictions, I fucking, me and Rocket did our season predictions back after the season schedule came out.
Okay.
I had us at 13-4. She had us at 12-5.
Okay.
Losing Tyron Smith, I got to take consideration that might cost us a game. So instead of going back and making a whole another fucking whatchamacallit, fucking that takes me 4 fucking hours to make, I'll probably drop it to 12-5, same as hers. But I still think, yeah, 12-5. I don't know which game I'm going to take away from us from a win, because I had us beating Tampa Bay, but losing this, to Cincinnati. And I'm still going to, just to get ahead of myself, I'm still going to predict we beat Tampa Bay. But somewhere along the line, I think Tyron Smith not being in there might cost us a game. PFF trying to pump up Surtain. Still believe Diggs outperforming him. Yeah, the thing about, I haven't really talked about the Diggs shit that fucking everybody's talking about. Like his yards he gave up, and, you know, and everybody, Philly fans talking shit about it. And of course, Cowboy fans are fucking sensitive as fuck when it comes to Philly fans and think they have to argue with them about every little thing. I don't give a shit how many yards you give up if you're getting 11 picks. I don't care.
Mhm.
You get 11 picks, give up 1,900, whatever you want to go off, PFL, PFR. It doesn't matter to me. You give up as many yards, I don't give a shit if you're getting 11 picks. The problem is you're not going to sustain that. You're not getting 11 picks again this year. You're not getting double-digit picks this year. You can get 7, maybe even 8, and still lead the league. All right. And my thing is, if you do give up a lot of yards and your interceptions drop off by 4 or 5, then that could be a problem. My thing is this. I do think his interceptions would drop off, because it's just natural for that to happen. But I also think his yards would drop off too. I think he probably has worked on it and do some little things to make his overall coverage better, when he's not getting fucking picks. So I expect him to have another big year. I expect him to have between 5 and 7 interceptions, and I expect his yards to drop off probably close to half, depending on which site you go with. If you go with 1,000 yards, then, yeah, I think he'll give up 500 yards or less, and which would be fucking tremendous, with 5 or 7 interceptions. So, yeah. But, yeah, he's one of the best. To me, he's a top 10 cornerback. So for some reason that insults Cowboy fans when you say he's top 10.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I'm telling you, there's only 9 cornerbacks in the NFL that could, and I'm not even putting him at 10. I'm saying top 10.
Right.
So but even if I did put him at 10, I'm saying there's only 9 quarterbacks better than him. Like he's better than 30 other fucking cornerbacks, 40 other cornerbacks. So it's not an insult. I'll put him somewhere between 5 and 7. I can make an argument 5. I can make an argument for 7, but somewhere in there. But and I think he'll, at minimum, be another top 5 or 7, possibly even better than that. So, but yeah, like I said, I don't give a shit about the yards. If you get 11 picks, but if you don't get 11 picks, then you give it the same amount of yards, then that's going to change the narrative a little bit. Because if he would have got 11 picks, or if he would have only got 5 picks this year and gave up that many yards, it'd been hard for Cowboy fans to defend that. But he did get 11 picks, so I don't give a shit. So, I like for him to repeat the 11 interceptions, but that's just never happened, and it's just not going to happen again. So, well, not back-to-back years. But yeah, I expect him to be just as good as last year. Maybe less picks, but less yards too. So,
yeah, I'm with you. I think he has a good year.
I think Godwin will play. I think they're kind of holding that down as a secret, but I think he'll end up playing. He's been practicing at the Braves, and he's been practicing, so I think they'll sneak him in there. Yeah.
All right, Charlie, want to get to these game predictions?
Let's get to the game predictions. You go first.
All right.
You're the guest.
So last year I said I wasn't concerned. This year, still not concerned. Last year I said it was going to be a pick'em game. Whoever gets the ball last wins. That's what happened. I think this year will be pretty much more of the same. I mean, we've talked about this quite a bit. We've got some losses on the offensive line. I would probably say Tampa's losses are more significant than ours on the offensive line because they've lost 2 guys in the middle, which Tom Brady really relies on the middle of his offensive line to protect him, and he's not a mobile quarterback. They're dealing with some injuries at receiver. Russell Gage probably won't play. Something just came out that said Godwin is up in the air. I think he plays also, but even with that, I like our defense, so I think we can wash out their offense. I think Mike Evans gets shut down. I really feel like the difference in the game will be the trenches on both sides of the ball. If our offensive line can halfway hold up against their defensive line, and if our defensive line can get in Brady's face, I think it's going to be an interesting game. So I'm calling it the same way I called it last year. It's a pick'em game. Whoever gets the ball last probably wins it. I lean more towards Dallas because unlike last year, if Brady gets the ball with 1:07, I think we have a much better chance of stopping him than we did last year from getting in field goal range or what have you. So I like us 20, 24, 21, 26, 23 field goal game.
All right. I forgot to do my fucking goddamn video before this, so I'm going to do it for me. There we go. I know I forgot all about it. I'm going to go Cowboys 27-24.
Okay.
I think home helps us. I think Brady's offensive line kind of being, and especially like you said, up the middle, and not that any quarterback likes pressure up the middle, but it bothers Brady more than most quarterbacks. Yeah, 27-24. And I'm also with you on the last minute. Tom Brady does Tom Brady shit, but I think our defense can slow him down on that one. Mm-hmm. I think we'll be fine on that.
Yeah, and a little bit of story on Hainsey, the guy that's playing center, coming out of Notre Dame. He played tackle. I said last year I didn't think he could transition to guard because he didn't have the strength for it. Now he's playing center.
Right.
That's not good.
No.
At all. And I don't think he's ever played the position either, honestly. So you got Micah Parsons and Neville Gallimore and Bohanna in front of you. And he's a pretty small guy for offensive lineman because I think he may have been one of those barely 300-pound tackles. Now he's playing center at 6'5", probably 303, 305. And he's got some monsters in front of him. So that was going to be interesting. And Tom Brady has been gone for most of the offseason too. So we don't know how much work he got with him. So a lot of stuff to look at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with their offense too. You know, their receivers right now are like, huh? Their O-line is, huh? You know, people talking about our O-line and receivers being, huh? They're going through some of the same issues we are. Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall, I think 27-24. I think we can pull it out. I don't know, man. I just think the loss last year to them at their house, like Micah does not like fucking losing. Mm-hmm. And you can see it. And there was a quick, I'll let you go. There was somebody was talking about it. I don't know who it was. But after the loss in the playoff game to San Francisco, some of the players went out to party and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And they was at a party, and somebody was saying that like Micah, like all the other people there, they was drinking, having fun, but Micah was just like fucking still pissed about losing that game. Like he just could not handle with the loss, and with the loss last year against Tampa Bay and shit like that, I think he's gonna. I think he's a leader on defense like fucking Dak is on offense. Mm-hmm. I think the players will follow him. I think the players will fucking just feed off him. And anytime you got that kind of much energy and that much skill, players going to fucking bust their ass for you.
Yep. And it's definitely a different mentality on the defense this year.
Right. Yeah. And the Looney Tech, no, the video was for both of us, but I forgot to fucking play that motherfucker. I actually showed Marcus before we came on. I was like, look, I got a new video for a prediction. And I just totally forgot about it. And I was like, shit, I forgot to put it on. But anyways. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Marcus got to go. And I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I got a dog in there yelping. I think he needs out of kennel and go potty. But we enjoyed it. Also, like I said before, y'all leave out, please hit that like button and leave a comment. Again, hit that like button, or hell, hit the dislike button. Just hit a button. If you haven't subbed already, hit that sub, hit that bell for notifications when we go live. And I'm doing Charlie takes this year, little short 10 to 15 minute videos. I dropped a couple last month. I'll do that at least once a week. I'll try to get one in. I might even put double 2 or 3 in because they don't take long to do. But yeah, hit that like, hit that sub, hit that fucking bell, and don't forget to join Bluff tomorrow on his show. What time y'all going on?
Cowboys on tomorrow, 8:30 Central Time. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
All right, he'll be on then. Saturday, Rika is going live, so I'll be doing a show with her Saturday. So if y'all bored and night before the game, you will come chop it up. And I can tell you this channel right here, or this show, and Rika's kind of the same way, but she narrows her down to an hour. This show is kind of like freestyle every week. Anytime you want to come on and be a guest, come on and chop it up with me, just hit me up in my DMs on Twitter or Facebook, and I'll send you the link, and you can come on and do the show with me. I don't like doing shows by myself, so everybody's welcome. I'll invite anybody who wants to come on, and it doesn't just have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I can have up to 8, but I don't know if I want 8 because that's a lot of people talking over each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anybody's welcome. Jack, I've been on to Jack before. Lunatic's been on with us before. Mendoza, anytime you want to come on. I love talking to you. But yeah, and the other guy, I can't remember who that. I was about to call him a bad name. Silver and Blue, I'll talk to them. They're coming on when I here in a week or two. What's that? Pregame suite. He's left already, I think.
He said, so he said that was Eric.
Is that fuck? Oh, that is fucking Eric. I forgot that's his new logo and shit. That's his gaming whatchamacallit. He does games on fucking YouTube now. Doesn't have time to do Cowboys content with me and fucking drops out and leaves me hanging. But let's go play fucking video games on YouTube. You fucking prick. But anyways, yeah, that is him. Well, Eric, that's who I was trying to find. You're welcome to come on anytime you want to, since you used to host this show anyways. But anyways, y'all have fun. And let's hope the Cowboys fucking pull one out. I'll talk to y'all Saturday, or whoever's here. I'll talk to y'all Saturday. With Rika's show. And usually I do this for my Charlie takes, but fuck it, I want to do it for this one too. Y'all have a good time, bud. I know